Hey guys, welcome to Photo. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're talking about workflow and Lightroom. So I need you guys to download Lightroom, take a screenshot of it so I know that you downloaded it, and we're going to be doing some workflow through Lightroom. So workflow essentially for a photographer is the taking the picture all the way to the end, the saving the final file. And the workflow is just how you do it. Different photographers have different workflows. So you personally could get into the habit of, I take a photo with my iPhone 8 and then I edit it in Visco and then I put it into Lightroom and I do this and then I export it, and that's your workflow. So we're going to add Lightroom to your toolbox as something that you can use to edit your photos. Some of you have Lightroom already, that's great. If you haven't gotten it, please make sure it's Lightroom for iPad. All right, don't download this on your phone, please get it on your iPad. It's much better on your iPad, much easier to use. So I took some photos, gonna walk you through using those photos and how we can use presets in Lightroom, and we'll go from there. So check it out. Okay, so I got some pictures that I'm going to put in Lightroom. Now because I just transferred these to my iPad from my camera, they show up in Lightroom automatically as part of the recently added ones, so it recognizes what you just added to your iPad. Otherwise, you can go into the bottom right corner and hit the plus button, and that'll go into your camera roll, and you can select any photo from there. So if you want to edit some old photos, so you can do it that way. So I'm just going to go ahead and select one of the images that I want to edit, and it's going to bring up this, like Snapseed. I think this is much easier to use than Snapseed, but I use this often, so I might be biased. So we adjust things light, color, effects, detail, optics, geometry. These should be kind of familiar to you. So in light, you have your basic stuff for exposure and contrast, highlights and shadows and whites and darks. So you can go ahead and do that. What I want to talk about though is presets. So I've developed a preset that I use in all my photos. It's called Warm Petals, which is a preset that I downloaded. You can get presets for free. And then I just kind of altered it a little bit to fit the way I want my images to look. Now, in these images, it comes out really red. If you look down here, it says WP no grain. So that's Warm Petals no grain. So if I click on that, there's my preset. So that's before. It's a little greenish and a little dark. And then the Warm Petals really brightens it up. It does add like a way too much magenta in this particular picture. I hope you guys can see that. That's like way too magenta. So for that, now that I put the preset on, now I can adjust to the individual image. So I'm going to go into color, and one thing that I know I want to do is take the tint down. So the tint, I'm going to take out some of that magenta. Already that's starting to look a lot better, and it's a little blue. I'm going to add a little yellow to it. So that's before, after, before, after. Now I like that a lot for this particular image. So go in and you can do some other adjustments however you'd like, and when you want to export something from Lightroom, you can click on there, up there, and export to camera roll or export to file or whatever it is you want to do. What's nice about this is that it keeps all of your presets contained. So I have my presets here, and I have a lot of them. Red Leaf is a company that makes presets. Small, Visco, you guys have heard of before. They make a bunch of presets that I can put right in Lightroom, and I can just go through them like this. I think this is just easier than going into Visco and editing or going into any other app. You can keep everything like in one spot. I'm not sure of what capabilities you guys will and will not be able to use with Lightroom. I have a paid subscription, but I know you might not be able to just to edit raw files. I just want to show you one more thing about selective editing in Lightroom, which is really good. So we'll go over here. I'm going to actually grab another picture with Owen's face. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to go into presets. I'm going to go down to, I have a folder that's just called often, ones that I use often, and WP no grain. So same thing, way too red, or magenta, or whatever you want to say. So I'm going to hit done. I'm going to go into color. I'm going to turn down some of that magenta, turn up some of the yellow to warm it up, maybe put a little red back in. So that's before, that's after. So this kid eats tons of peanut butter and jelly, so he's got peanut butter on his face. So I'm going to I can use the healing brush, that's a little band-aid, that's just like what we use in Photoshop. And I can click on little peanut butter areas. Now that's way too big. So we'll turn down the size of that, and then that gets rid of that. And then we can do kind of the same thing over there, and hit done. So before, after, and we'd have to clean that up, it's a little white in that area. You can also make adjustments just to specific spots. If I wanted to like lighten up his eyes a little bit or something, you can go into the little circle underneath the Band-Aid, and there are selective edits. You can hit the plus sign, you can click on one of the selection tools, and you could make a selection. So when you actually click on eyes, Lightroom actually knows that you're clicking on an eye, and it makes like a radial selection for you. So I'm going to come into light with that selection made. I'm going to turn the exposure up. You can see that brightened up his eye a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that circle, hit plus, and then go over to his other eye. Maybe make that a bit smaller. Right. I'm just kind of grabbing the circles on the top and the bottom to adjust that, and then you can turn up the exposure again on that eye. Hit done. So didn't get so much on that second eye, but before, after. So tons you can do in this program. Download it, play around with it. The next assignment is going to be a make up your own assignment. This is more about, I want to see what you guys can do shooting wise, and what you kind of come up with creatively, and what you do to edit them in Lightroom. So stay safe, be well, talk to you soon.